Hello there and welcome back to Bloodborne. In between the time the last episode and this one was recorded, they released the DLC, which is accessed by picking up this item here, so we're gonna leave that there for now. The patch that came with the DLC also added this new item. The old hunter bell lets you enlist the help of the old hunters. The old hunters, who have long passed from the dream but cannot forget the feeling of the hunt, rely upon messengers to relay their thoughts, for the night of the hunt is long and unchanging. Essentially, it expands the NPCs that are available for co-op for bosses in the game, previously there only being Father Gascoigne and Alfred. You get the bell at the same time as you do the beckoning bell, upon getting your first point of insight. So, we've used every weapon we've found so far, so we're gonna have to do a bit of repeating with weapon usage for now. Let's try out the Kirk hammer again, since it's been a while since we've used it and it's a pretty fun weapon. Smashing beasts into paste never gets old. It's a bit unfortunate that its second slot is a triangle slot and we don't have any particularly good blood gems for it, so comparatively to the Ludwig's Holy Blade it's less powerful, but that's okay. We're also going to upgrade our Hunter Pistol once. That unlocks its first and only blood gem slot, which we could either fill with a blood tinge gem for a bit more damage, but that would not provide much of a boost, so instead we're going to put that Tear Stone in, which gives 2 points of HP regeneration per second. It's not very helpful, but it's about the best gem that you can put in a pistol, and it can come in handy. Now, killing the Witches of Hemwick unlocks those bloodshot eyeballs in the insight shop here, should you need them for a chalice ritual. But we're gonna get Henrik's Hunter set. Looking pretty stylish, if I do say so myself. Let's go talk to the Bath Messengers and pick up some fire paper. It will come in handy later on. Alright, let's go talk to the doll and level up.
Welcome home, good hunter. What is it you desire? Very well. Let the echoes become your strength. Let me stand close. Now shut your eyes.
Obviously, we want a few points in strength to boost the damage of the Kirkhammer a fair bit. But we're also going to start putting more points into Arcane. There's some fun stuff you can use if you have a good investment in Arcane. Most of that stuff isn't available until later on, but putting points in early helps.
Farewell, good hunter. May you find your worth in the waking world.
Bye, Dollface. Now, before we actually progress through the game any further, there's a few areas we want to hit up. Places that we didn't fully explore when we first visited them. The first is this massive pit here in the Healing Church workshop. We made a few drops at the beginning there leading to the abandoned workshop. The one that looks suspiciously like, and by that I mean exactly like, the one in the Hunter's Dream. But there are a number more places that you can drop down here, leading to some goodies. These drops are also thankfully much more easy to make than the few perilous leaps of faith to get to the abandoned workshop. Nice, we get another cute hat for the messengers. We'll have to give them that next time we get back to the dream. Now, at this point, this looks kind of like a dead end, like you'd have to just warp back to the dream or kill yourself, but there's actually a drop here that you can make. You can just barely notice the wooden plank below if you look very carefully. And then one more drop on this pile of crap here. Hopefully that wasn't anyone's luggage. Oh. Hello there. Is that your stuff that I broke? I'm sorry about that. Here we have the one and only beast-possessed soul found outside of the Chalice dungeons, and he's exactly the same as the one that we've already fought in the Chalice dungeons, except for his much lower health. He does, however, drop a unique reward, the Beast Rune. A transcription of the roar of a labyrinth beast. The bearer of the Beast Rune has accentuated temporary transformation effects. If you remember the Beast Blood pellets we tried out earlier in Old Yhar'gul, what the Beast Rune does is it raises the Beast meter, allowing you to fill it more and keep that damage bonus longer. It also provides a 50% reduction to fall damage from non-fatal falls.
A night of curses. A night to remember. Wouldn't you say, friend?
The people of Yhar'gul continue to be singularly unhelpful. Oh hey, a treasure! I'm sure this couldn't be a Hey there, I see ya. Thankfully, the carrion crows at this point are not even remotely a threat, at least when encountered by themselves. And for that perilous fight, we get sweaty clothes. Yay. Also, a fedora-like hat for the budding gentleman in the room. Oh hey there, buddy. What are you doing outside of the Chalice dungeons? This one is thankfully in a prime position to be chain backstabbed to death. Although he's not alone, there is a patrolling group of Yhar'gul hunters here that you have to watch out for. Alright, well, this isn't going so well. It's hammer time. Kirkhammer supremacy. Oh yeah. Something metal is grating against stone up ahead. Let's check back the way we came from first. This is the main alley that the side alley we took down branched off from. This is just a side area, so it's not going to be too complicated. Alright, let's finish off the last of these hunters here. Oh hey, is that? Yeah, it's one of those brain suckers, like the one that we fought in the Cathedral Ward. As I mentioned before, much like they're weak to fire, they're also extremely weak to thrusting attacks. And this one is guarding a potentially very valuable treasure or one that is completely worthless, depending on your build. This is an invaluable gem for the budding arcanist, as it is the strongest fire gem that you can get outside of the Chalice dungeons for a good long while. It is a crescent shape, so along with 2 cursed fire radials obtained from the dungeons, you can make a pimped out fire damage saw cleaver or saw spear which will totally wreck any beasts you come across. And here we come to the main reason for this little side area. It is a back entrance into the Cathedral Ward. If you don't have the 10k blood echoes needed to purchase the emblem to get through the main gate, you can take this back entrance. You could also take it to save yourself the hassle of purchasing it and thus use those 10k blood echoes for something else. You can then open the gate from the other side with the switch on that side. So, let's go check in on our buddies down in Odin Chapel. See how they're doing. Hey, wait a minute. You weren't there before. There used to be a bunch of crows here. What are you doing here? Oh, hey, that's Vu. Don't do... Oh. That was awfully rude of him. Welcome, friends, to Yahar'gul, the unseen village. The only way to reach here is to be killed and then kidnapped by one of those kidnappers found outside of the Chalice dungeons. The ones inside the Chalice dungeons will not take you here. What an odd sense of fashion. Additionally, the kidnappers will only appear after having killed the blood-starved beast, thus requiring Old Yharnam's completion to access this area. Madmen toil surreptitiously in rituals to beckon the moon, uncover their secrets. Well, okay, mysterious message, I guess we'll do that then.
Oh, merciful God, help me. In the name of the healing church, cleanse us of this horrible dream.
Well, hello there, are you okay?
Oh! Please leave me be. Don't take me, please. Oh, please, dear gods.
She seems rather reticent here. Perhaps if we don the garb of the healing church, she'll think we're a compatriot and be a bit more open.
By your garb, the healing church, you've come to save me. Oh, thank you, dear saint. I have no words to express my relief. You can take this, at least. It's sure to please an upstanding member of the church like you. Oh, thank you so much, dear gods. Thank you so much. I was seized on the street by the hulking brute in the cathedral ward and locked up here. There were many others, but they've been taken away. And I've heard moans echoing in the distance ever since. So, the hunt is on tonight. Then the streets are perilous, and every door will be shut tight. Perhaps it isn't my place to ask, but do you know somewhere that might take me in?
Why, yes, actually.
Oh, thank you so much. I'll set out as soon as I can. I pray for success on your hunt, kind hunter. I'll set out as soon as I can. I pray for success on your hunt, kind hunter.
So, you sure you don't need any help getting back? You're fine on your own? Okay then. It's worth noting that not only can you equip the Black Church set, but you can also equip Gascoigne's set. as it is also garb of the Healing Church in order to convince her that you're a member of it. And that you also do not need to equip the entire set of either of those. You just need to put on the chest piece and that'll be enough. So let's get to finding a way out of here then. If such a thing even exists. I mean, this area looks like nothing we've ever seen before. It almost looks like it's another world entirely, apart from everything else. But hopefully we can find a way out. Oh, hi. The kidnappers are a regular enemy in this area, so if you haven't learned how to fight them yet, good luck with that. The game is also not afraid to throw you into encounters with more than one at a time. This is where the chain backstabbing trick really comes in handy. Taking out one immediately allows you to focus all your attention on the other and not get horribly murdered immediately. Although, even by themselves, they're still pretty tough customers. They have a fairly high chance to drop twin bloodstone shards. Essentially, the game's telling you want a weapon higher than +3 at this point. But if you don't, the game throws a bit of mercy on you by giving you a lantern almost immediately, allowing you to exit here should the area be too difficult. Huh, this body is considerably smaller than the earlier one we saw. A person of short stature, or... Nightmarish rituals crave a newborn. Find one and silence its harrowing cry. Yeah, I don't think this place is exactly on the up and up. On the other hand, this place seems ripe with secrets. Perhaps we'll finally find some of the answers we're looking for here. Appropriate enough for a place that's trying to beckon the moon, we find the Moon. The great ones that inhabit the nightmare are sympathetic in spirit, and often answer when called upon. Well, that kinda just raises further questions now, doesn't it? Oh, hey there. What are you doing here? Wait, no, stop. What are you doing? No, those are important. Stop it. Say hello to the Eye Collector, the younger sister, you could say, of the Hemwick Witch. She does not have eyes covering her body like her older sister, and thus lacks the insight to perform arcane arts, and thus is a lot less dangerous. Though you still want to avoid that nasty grab. Ah, such a big and beautiful moon. The perfect night for a hunt. We've also got another pig here. This one is a bit more difficult to get behind and fist, but it lasting longer means we get to see a bit more of its moves. Although the only one that is not some sort of physical attack is that poison mist which lingers. That you might want to watch out for lest you be poisoned. But much like his brethren, if you can get behind him, he's pretty much a joke. Although we unfortunately lost the opportunity to fist him there. But we'll get chances in the future. And again, the game is basically screaming at you to have a weapon higher than +3 at this point. Although this area is definitely doable with a mere +3 weapon. One thing you definitely want to do when going through here is opening up these shortcuts. This one here may not seem all that useful now, but it will come in handy in the future, so it is very much worth doing. I'll just take a moment here to really praise this area for its absolutely insanely good creepy atmosphere. One of the things that the director of the game, Hidetaka Miyazaki, stated prior to its release that as far as atmosphere goes, they were taking huge influence from the Tower of Latria area from Demon Souls, from Software's first Soulsborne title. Up until this area, I would argue that that influence is only just barely felt, but here it just comes out in full force. Prior areas may have been desolate and in disarray, but this is the only one so far to truly convey a sense of hopelessness, and of things being not quite right. We'll deal with that pig in a bit. First, we want to jump on this cart here. There isn't any treasure to be accessed by doing this, but it's an excellent vantage point for this part of the level. Really good for scouting what enemies are ahead. Now, if we had some Molotovs, we could take out these dogs fairly easily at a distance. Unfortunately, poison knives just don't do the kind of damage that we need, and simply anger the dogs. So we're gonna have to finish them off in close quarters combat. But as long as you can keep them somewhat separated, fighting no more than one or two at a time, they're not too dangerous. They only become excessively dangerous when in groups of 3 or more. If you're astute, you may have noticed that I just kind of left an item behind that the pig was guarding. It's a few bolt papers, and so is very worth picking up yourself if you're playing through, on account of bolt papers being very expensive, just as much if not more so than fire paper. Pungent blood cocktails can come in very handy here. You can use them to lure the dogs out to a specific area and distract them, and thus take them out pretty easily. One dog managed to glitch himself into that carriage there, which made him especially easy pickings. For this last encounter here, I would not suggest trying to lure them out one at a time, as you're just as likely to aggro all of them if you lob a pebble at one. Instead, the best strategy, especially if you get a big old weapon like the Kirkhammer, is just to sneak up and do a charge attack, and any follow-ups that you may have. And thus we can get the treasure they were guarding, which is a new weapon and very much worth going through all the hassle of killing those enemies and reaching this dead end here. The Tonitrus is a weapon we've actually seen before, in use by the enemy hunter that was with the rifle spear wielding hunter in the Cathedral Ward. The cool ass electric mace he was wielding, that's the Tonitrus. And we'll be seeing it in action ourselves later on, in a certain area where it really wrecks face. For now, let's head back. We still have a few paths left to explore. And a message that we almost missed. Behold, a pale blood sky. Well, it's certainly a pale sky. I'm not sure about the blood descriptor though. And here we have the yahar'gul hunter set, similar to the garb worn by the kidnapper that dragged us here. Hunters in name only, these kidnappers blend into the night, wearing this attire. Also worth noting is that one name there, the School of Mensis. It's worth keeping in mind as that will become important later on. That did not go so well. But in return, we get some madman's knowledge, so it was worth it in the end. Fortunately, this gate is far too big to open with our level of strength, so we'll have to stop there. Let's head back again, for we still have a few more paths that we have yet to explore. Perhaps lobbed a bit late, although it still came in handy here, as it distracted the one dog that was left alive. The kidnappers can also drop bolt paper. They're actually a pretty good enemy to farm here. They give a good amount of blood echoes. They can drop twin bloodstone shards with which you can upgrade more weapons to a more potent level. And on occasion you'll get that bolt paper, which is a fantastic buff and helpful in combat early on. Oh, hi there. Sorry for disturbing you. The eye collectors aren't too much of a threat as long as you pay enough attention to avoid their grab attack. That's really the only thing that makes them dangerous. This is definitely a room we haven't seen before. But it leads back to the central staircase here. Due to the compact nature of this area, if you find yourself in a new room, chances are it's right next to an old room that you've previously been in. Oh boy, there appear to be 2 kidnappers in that room there. Although, perhaps we could put their advantageous numbers to good use. And here we have some Yanamites, presumably kidnapped by the kidnappers much as we were. It's probably best to just put them out of their misery. So, let's see about turning these guys against each other here. It's always satisfying seeing enemies pummel each other to death. Few 2 games have the ability to instigate enemy infighting, which is really a travesty considering Doom had it pretty well handled way back in the early 90s. This just leads back into the prior room where Yanamites are being held. Let's make sure to put them all out of their misery so they don't get roped into horrible experiments before we continue on here. Aha! Freedom! At last! But what is this mention of a giant beast and... uh-oh, an NPC we can summon. You know what that means. And yes, this is one of the new NPCs added with the DLC patch. But, whatever giant beast is ahead, I am sure we can take it on just fine. But where is it? All I see is a giant pile of rubble over there. Oh. Hi. You're certainly a big boy, aren't you? The Tonitrus description mentioned blue sparks generated by the dark beasts, and it seems we found the source. Dark Beast Paul here is one of the more contentious bosses in the game. He suffers from a lot of the issues that the bigger beast bosses tend to suffer from. His long, gangly body that takes up a lot of the camera space makes it very hard to actually hit him, even when you're right up in front of his grill. It also makes it very difficult to predict exactly what move he's going to do, making dodging difficult. Add to that the fact that he does a very large amount of damage with his attacks, especially that leap attack there, and you have one of the trickier bosses. So let's bring in a little bit of help here. See what this Antal is about. He's wielding the yahar'gul set, so he must be a defector from this area. And he's using what looks like the flame spray and a weapon that we haven't seen before. Most of the new NPCs are wielding weapons found in the expansion. I suppose that there is something of an advertisement. Hey, you want to use this cool weapon? Spend $20. Not that the DLC isn't otherwise worth it, mind you. So, now that we have Antal helping out, Dark Beast Paul is a lot more manageable. Cooperators in general are excellent for taking the boss's attention away from you, allowing you to sneak attacks in yourself. NPC cooperators doubly so due to their increased stats compared to what players can have. As you can see, he's drawing all of Paul's frontal attacks, allowing us to chip away at his legs with relative impunity. Whether fighting him alone or with a buddy, Paul essentially has 3 types of attacks. Melee strikes directed to in front of him or to his sides, an electrical AoE that hits all around him with the head being the center point, and a highly damaging leap attack. Now, Paul may seem insurmountable at first, but if you keep on with the attacks and be aggressive, you can do that. Attack him fast enough with hard enough hits and you'll actually make him collapse, causing him to lose his electrical aura, reducing his damage and preventing him from sending out electrical shockwaves. Now, he'll attempt to restore this, and when he gets to low enough HP, he'll attempt to double his buff, making him even more dangerous, but he has to stand still to do that, leaving him very open. And if you can attack him hard enough and quick enough, you can make him collapse. Do this quick enough and you can completely shut down Paul from the first time that you make him collapse, making him pretty much a cakewalk. And for that trouble we get the Spark Hunter badge, which is actually probably the most useless badge because the only thing that it unlocks at the Bath Messenger shop is the Tonitrus, which you can get for free in the same area. Not the best reward. However, beating Paul also allows you to access this gate up here, which, if you have a particularly good memory, you may actually remember seeing before. It's not the big-ass gate that we found earlier in yahar'gul, but the big-ass gate that we encountered long ago in Old Yharnam. Despite its otherworldly feeling, the unseen village is directly connected to the rest of Yharnam. Before we end off here, let's make a trip back into Old Yharnam here. If you remember way back, if we try to go through here the normal way, we ended up being attacked by Dura, but what happens if we sneak up from behind here, without alerting him of our presence, without making us seem like aggressors to the beasts that he's protecting? If we do this, he's non-hostile towards us. We can even enter into a discussion with him.
Well, well. How did you get in here? It's no matter. What brings you to Old Yarnham? I've no interest in matters further up, but you must not disturb this place. The beasts do not venture above, and mean no harm to anyone. If you still insist on hunting them, then I will hunt you first. You understand me? Yes, very good. I no longer dream, but I was once a hunter too. There's nothing more horrific than a hunt. In case you fail to realize, the things you hunt, they're not beasts. They're people. One day you will see. It's time you got going. But first, a farewell gift. I have no use for it anyway. What is it? Surely I need not repeat myself. Go, I say. You have the whole night to dream. Make the best of it.
It sounds like Diora knows of the hunter's dream, from the way he's speaking. The late powder kegs, bless their souls, had a motto. If a weapon ain't got kick, it just ain't worth it. This is the true reward for beating Paul, allowing for the purchase of a rather neat new weapon from the Bath Messengers. Now, as uncouth as it may be, we're gonna have to kill Diora here.
Is it the blood, or are you just raving mad? When the frail of heart join the fray, the hunter becomes the hunted.
Much like Henrik, if we kill him here, we'll be able to purchase his armor set from the Insight shop in the dream, making him very worth killing, but he's certainly not an easy mark, that's for sure. Even though we're considerably stronger than when we first met up with him, he's still a very troublesome opponent with quick attacks and a powerful blunderbuss. This is made even more difficult by the tiny arena that is very easy to dodge off the side and fall to your death from. On the other hand, this is also the best method by which to kill Diora. If you can position yourself just right, you can cause him to dodge right off the edge and fall to his death. But we'll give him a death worthy of a hunter.
It's you. You're the beast. Just think about what you're doing. It's utter madness.